All right, guys, today we get to play with a little bit of a unicorn lock. And all of my years in lockpicking, I've never seen one of these in the wild. This is a U.S. Postal Service post office box lock. This one doesn't come with a key. It comes from Greg C. in Omaha, Nebraska. It says he works in a facility where they use these. Someone lost a key. He said he tried to pick it, tried to rake it, and no luck. Thought he sent it to the LockLab. They were going to throw it away anyway. So what a great use, and I appreciate it, Greg. Get a chance to pick one of these bad boys, or at least try to. It doesn't look, we have to remember this is a U.S. government contracted lock, so they didn't spend a fortune on it. And when I flip around this, I don't see any retaining clip on the back to hold that core in there. It does jiggle a little bit. And I also don't see any exposed pin on it. If you look below the chrome finish right in the bottom here, you can just start to see an outline right where my thumb is there. A little bit of an outline of the pin that may be the retaining pin. So I don't think we're going to be able to get this apart. Let me try to get it picked, and then maybe when we get the core rotated 90 degrees, maybe then, I doubt it, but maybe then the core will shove out. Again, maybe they're saving pennies by not putting it on there. After all, it really wouldn't, if the customer stuck the key in and turned it and pulled it, it really wouldn't come out, because remember the actuator is on the back held on by this nut. So as long as that nut doesn't fall off, and it's a lock nut, I don't think that it could be accidentally decored, but anyway, let's try it. I'm going to clamp it up. We have a little bit of a challenge here. I took a look here, and we have, obviously, it's a shutter on the front. So this lock apparently can also, or maybe it's exclusively used outside. I really don't know. My own post office box does not have a shutter like this, but I'm not from Omaha, Nebraska either. Maybe up there you got to have it. Let's try to clamp it up, see what we got. Challenge, of course, is going to be, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take this little nut off the back. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to clamp this up in the vise, and I don't want these rubber jaws to compress on that nut. So we would get it picked, and then the core couldn't turn. So I'm really going to clamp it down. And when I'm not going to really, I just want to show you here. See how the nut now, the shaft hangs free there. So at least I'm going to give myself a chance. I hate to get it picked and not be able to turn it. All right, let's take a look in here. Let me get a tensioner. Let me grab one of these guys. And what I really want to do is just get an idea of what we're going to be dealing with. So I'm just going to wedge him there for a second and get a flashlight and look up inside of there. And I can see it's definitely a pin tumbler. And I can only see 3 pins until it gets a little bit out of my vision. But I'll rake it in a minute. We'll figure out exactly what we got. This is probably, if you look at the top, there's room on the top for a top of the keyway tensioner, so I think I'm going to use that, but he's going to be too wide. Let me get him turned here. And let me grab another one. This guy probably is not going to be ideal. The shaft is a little bit long, but he's the perfect width. I don't want to cut him just for this one lock, so I probably can just hold him like that. And let me get a pick. Now, when you get past this big barn door, it does constrict considerably. It's not paracentric, but it's quite narrow. That's why I chose a 15,000. So let me first count the pins. I'm counting 5 pins, even though I can only see 3 of them. Let's first try to rake it. And to rake it, I'm going to use this guy, again, 15 thousandths. Light tension all the way in. And he's getting hung up in that warding. This may not work. There we go. All right. See what we got here. A little different up and down action, in and out, side to side, high in the back. Aha! High in the back, low in the front was the key. Try that again, just with that one technique. High in the front, low in the back. And there we go. How easy is that? I would have hoped that they would have protected my mail a little bit better than that. Let's go ahead and SPB it just for the heck of it. I want to see if there's any security pins in here. So I'm going to use a DeForest, the same one I counted the pins with. Starting in the very back. Number 3 is a binder. That was number 4. That was number 2. I'm hung up on the warding. That was number 3 again. And there we go. Definitely is a rake job, not the way to do it by SPPing. And again, I would have hoped that this being the only thing that stands between a criminal and my mail would have been a little bit tougher. I didn't detect any security pins or anything. I really wish we could get it open. In fact, let's go ahead and see if I can. No. I didn't think it would come out. Otherwise, you know, if that nut did fall off, the post office would have a real mess of a customer turned and then actually pulled out a little bit. The lock would self-gut, and that's the last thing you want. Anyway, guys, there you go. The USPS Unicorn Lock from Omaha, Nebraska. Greg C., thank you, sir, for sending this in. I really appreciate it. I've never seen one of these in the wild before. Thanks, guys. Stay safe. Stay legal. Each of these videos takes 4 to 6 hours to record, edit, and publish, so I'd really appreciate it if you show your support by subscribing and clicking on the like button. Thanks, guys.